It's a beautiful Wednesday morning from the studios of Ways. Welcome to today's episode of Ways hashtag What Are You Saying? Ways Breakfast hashtag What Are You Saying? And today, Wednesday, we've got a lot of packages for you this morning. And I hope you're not stuck in either video yesterday or maybe in traffic or maybe somewhere where you didn't plan to sleep, but that was where you slept. My name is Omotoshola Sharimaki, and if you're here to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, please do that now. Like, comment, and share the content to your friends and families. Hello, ladies. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good
Come on, what you
morning.
doing this one?
How are you guys doing,
Morning.
though? How is the weather? Because literally everywhere there's flood, there's traffic, how are you guys doing in general?
See, just forget the fact that I was doing like this. I am tired.
Really?
The cold is terrible.
Oh,
It's
wow.
affecting my voice,
What?
my energy, but I have to form and appear either ways. But
The way she
I
said
like
that,
that.
it was giving me spoken word vibe.
Right.
I have to perform and like,
I just have to
bro.
appear and show up, but
And show up correct.
it's been a very...
I don't think I'm in agreement to that, honestly. This is my kind of weather. Like, why would I want
This
a
can
weather
never
that is
be my
very
weather.
hot?
Can-
This can never
To
be
think
my
I
weather.
This
prefer
is
this weather
my
to
weather.
when there's hot, when there's
Exactly.
heat everywhere. But I think the rain is like too much,
It's
and
too
then there's
much. The
flood
cold is too
everywhere.
No, it's not so
There's
much.
traffic.
No, not so much. No.
I think if you spend like 3 hours trying to find your way to your nearest bus stop, then you will understand that it's
Imagine
really
every
too
night
much.
you're looking for a hoodie to wear to sleep. It's
Sorry,
really
my
not
love,
nice at
but-
all.
I'm sending back.
It is what it is.
And I'm
not
thinking
here.
that this is going to continue till September, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh my God. I need funds, guys.
Well, this is
You got
to
talking
inform
like the
you.
fun that you didn't want before, but it's fine.
Well, this is to inform you that the weather is already cold out there. Try as much as possible to keep yourself warm. For mothers that have kids, please pack hot food for your kids to take to school. You yourself, as the mother or as the father, ensure that you're eating hot food. I think this is not the best time to take cold water or something chilled at the moment, and then clear your gutter. That flood is caused by you. The governor of the state or the president of the country will not come and clear the gutter for you. Try to create a good passage where the water can flow in through. Okay, so today we've got an amazing guest for you. I'll keep the name on the wraps because I don't want to spill it now. But all you need to do is just to stick around and ensure that you watch the show to the end of the show and you understand what I'm talking about. So we're going on a quick sharp break right now to return with headlines across the globe. Please stick around. We'll be right back in a moment. Glad to have you back from that break. You're still on to West Breakfast. Hashtag what are you saying? And now it's time to take a look at the pages of today's newspaper. And today we have the Vanguard newspaper, we have the New York Times, and we also have the Punch newspaper. And I'll be starting with the Vanguard newspaper with a lot of stories. The major headline here reads that Tinubu to consult governors OPS on minimum wage, says federal government. And right under the story, there's a little story that says he can't take decisions on new minimum wage alone. Another one says, insist the input of government, local government operators very vital. And at the top right corner, the major headline there says, Cardoso upbeat in taming inflation, support measures to boost external reserves. For those I don't know who Cardoso is the current CBN governor. And then the story right under says Chivido 2024. Lagos Island stands still as Davido Chioma exchange marital vows. Right beside it, Colorado Tinubu directs FEC to set up committee to oversee emergency operations. And finally, at the top right corner of the Vanguard newspaper, federal government moves to sell 3 aircraft to presidential fleet to buy 1. At the bottom corner of the Vanguard newspaper, Rivers crisis, anti-Fubara protest rocks Port Harcourt. DMO attributes rise in public debt to FX reforms, MPR's hike. And this story at the corner of just the slang corner, the story says no plan to dethrone Sultan, says Sokoto governor. And on insecurity challenges, NSA alerts on terrorist recruiting plot using media platform. And the story that that piqued my interest is federal government moves to sell 3 aircraft in presidential fleet to buy 1. I was going to read a bit of the details of the story, but let's not delve straight into that. Let's just talk about the idea of trying to sell 3 fleets to buy 1. And just last week, we talked about the fact that the president is trying to buy a presidential jet. We even asked, okay, I think on our other program, we asked if it was sensitive or insensitive to buy a presidential jet at this time. We even went as far as going to the streets of Lagos to ask people what they think about it. And everybody was of the opinion that, okay, this is coming at the total wrong time. Although a woman had a different opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, she said, as long as Tinubu is not using our own money to buy the presidential jet.
I don't understand. Which person's money is he not using?
At least
Federal government money.
Oh wow. How did...
Please do not hold me with that.
I beg, okay.
So, but
Let me
now
not
he's
say
saying he's
anything.
going to sell 3 out of the previous one of the aircraft in the presidential jet and the presidential fleet rather to buy presidential jet. Looks like a win is a win.
Well, on the Punch newspaper, it has more details on that. So maybe when we get to that, I'll shed more light. All right, we're going straight to the Punch newspaper. The major headline reads that Labour kicks as Federal Electoral Council steps down memo and demands consultation. It's a failure to discuss memo giving room for speculation, NLC tells government. And above that, we see CBN projects lower inflation, says reforms attract 24 billion naira inflow. Federal government meets local refiners over pricing and faults Dangote. Senate didn't approve new presidential jet, says Akpabio. 5 killed, a very sad story, as anti-tax protesters invade Kenya parliament. And we see court order Emefiele to forfeit $1.4 million bribery proceed and custom warns as officers dies at rep's investigative hearing. So yes, back to our jet story. Says Senate didn't approve new presidential jet. So I read, the major story and the full details about it. And what caught my attention was actually Obi's response, Peter Obi's response to that. So let me read the story for us. I will get the full gist. So it says the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, said on Tuesday that the Senate had not approved the purchase of the new presidential jet for the use of President Bola Tinubu and Vice President. So he described a malicious report, quoting him to have said that the National Assembly would approve the purchase irrespective of the harsh economy. I'm going to that part where Obi said that he described that purchase as insensitive, wondering if he would rather have the life of the president jeopardized by flying faulty aircraft. So Obi described that purchase as insensitive. And then someone else was saying, would you rather have your president's life jeopardized? So I'm wondering, do you think that statement from Obi was quite...
I would say...
First of all, is anything wrong with those other ones, the ones he has?
Yes, that's the point. There was something wrong with the previous aircraft that they were using. So in order to preserve our president's life and ensure safety and all of that, they thought to buy a new one.
No,
Are they not
I don't want to
cheaper
sound...
ones?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Is it tomato that you're buying? Is it cheaper ones?
We need to start working like with the current situation of Nigeria.
I don't
Honestly
want
speaking,
to sound like a pained Nigeria or an group. I want to sound like an outsider. Okay, I'm a Nigerian based in Canada, right? I would say the president actually deserves his own presidential.
Yes, but the reason for the purchase was because
even church leaders have their own personal listing for. Then he's the president of the country. To be honest, he actually deserves one. We just consider it insensitive at this time, and then it's trying to put up the sales of things. So
insensitive because you're looking at it from different lenses. Yes, I mean, hearing the claims that the former one was bad and faulty, I mean, we should preserve our president's life. Would you like to hear that something happened?
Like kidnapped or there's
exactly.
I rest
please
my case.
take us out of the country.
Let's leave Nigeria,
yes,
please. Because, bro. Okay, so the New York Times newspaper, right? The right side of the newspaper has realities of abortion bans, shift the terms of the issue, complication of pregnancy and fertility, sway voters from different parties. And by the left side, we have publishers' ties to hacking case, police adopted boss, or now at Washington Post. All right, next to that, we have the Haji death review on belly of spiritual quest. Without permit, many were unprotected from their hate. All right, bottom right has, can delaying menopause give women longer, healthier life? Beneath that, Iran's strict hijab law rattles presidential race. Women's movement is gaining ground. All right, the last headline on the newspaper by the left side has Trump's warm-up act, a gold coin pitchman, political event sponsor facing fraud claims. To be honest, there are a lot of intriguing, there are a lot of interesting headlines on the New York Times. But let's just take one, which says the Iran strict hijab law rattles presidential race. Women's movement is gaining ground. All right, in summary, right, the headline talks about a significant shift in the political landscape of Iran regarding its strict hijab law. Traditionally, the Iran's government has considered the law requiring women to cover their hair and dress modestly as untouchable and dismiss any opposition as foreign interference. However, the upcoming presidential election, I think there are about 5 of them, one of them came out to say, you know what, I think you don't need to impose on these women whether they should put on hijab or not. Instead, we should even educate them on why this hijab should be put on in the first place. But this is where I want to come out from, right? It has not always been an Islamic country. It used to be a monarchy. They used to like have this monarchy system. Not until they had the person ruling them at that time. I think there was a lot of corruption and all of those things that come with monarchy system, right? So they had to do the whole protesting and brought in the Islamic revolution. So that's when they now started practicing Islamic religion, right? And that's why they became an Islamic.
Sorry, let's not dwell too much on it, because if there's one thing I really do not like to talk about is religion.
Why?
Especially because there's a whole lot attached to it, and what works are different strokes for different folks, like I say. When it comes to monarchical system, if you should watch all these foreign TV stations a lot, you will know that they actually see Nigeria as a Muslim, as an Islamic country, right? So Nigeria is not, the fact that we feel like we have more Christians in Nigeria, other countries do not see Nigerians as that. They see us as an Islamic country. So they expect us, if, God forbid, if something should go wrong and we want to choose a monarchical head in Nigeria, it will most probably be a Muslim. And there's no assurance that they won't pass that hijabi thing into law.
For the longest, even with the kind of system of government that we run, right, still Muslims are
so there's no assurance that they won't pass the hijabi thing into law. So I think, to be honest, when it comes to niqab, hijabi, and all of that,
pass it to weight. Pride.
So, this is the end of the headlines across the globe. I'm sure you've been wondering why we are looking spotted this morning.
Yeah.
I said it the other time that you have to stick around to show to the end for you to understand all the packages, all the juicy content, the type of guests we've brought you this morning. So, we are going on a short break to... I don't want to tip of the iceberg. How do I say it? I want to open the cat out of the bag. All you need to do is just stick around. You'll be back in a moment. Please be on standby.
members of our House of Assembly or the National Assembly, who you have said are supposedly our representatives, who are supposed to be representing our interests, making laws that will be executed by the executive, these same people who you are saying that need to help us are people who have been helping themselves in the past. These are people who have only made laws that only hold us accountable and not necessarily them. Again, in the recent past, we've seen them fight for cars and monies and sitting allowances that are much more higher than the amount of money that a university professor takes home as his pay. And most of these professors still haven't received their pay. Who's to say that these same people that you're talking about accountability on their past will cut off their nose to spite their face?
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges.
With the growing youth population and very little engagement.
That is a ticking time bomb.
We're blessed people with a diverse culture who have a lot to say.
And yes, we are talking.
It is important we drive conversations that informs, inspires, and influences thoughts and actions.
If we say there is beauty in diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture.
We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation.
As we are the hope for the future,
yesterday's conversation shaped today.
What are you saying to shape your tomorrow?
We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
The major thing that we must look into, our leaders, the leaders, who are the pilots of this democratic system. That's the leaders of the country, the people in governance, the governors, the president, and every leader in every tier of government. How are they elected? How do they get into these offices? How do we put them in this position of power to make laws for us, to direct our affairs and all that?
Thank you very much for sticking around. Now it's time to dive into the conversation, which is our hot topic for today. And today we're talking about something, and we're streamlining it down to the Gen Zs. We're talking about the big poor generation. It's time to dive into healthy lifestyles of Gen Zs and young adults. With a growing awareness of self-care, skincare routine, nutritious eating, weight gain, weight loss, do this, do that. This generation is redefining what it means to live healthy. And joining us to have this conversation is a renowned professional fitness coach, a wellness coach, and mental health advocate. Join me, ladies and gentlemen, as a welcome to the studio, Maje Ayida. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us. Good morning. Quick one, let me ask you, how did you get here? By hair, by mopping stick?
Honestly, look, I was in traffic yesterday for 5.5 hours.
Oh my God.
I almost wept. Almost broke my spirit. It's crazy, but today was much better. So it was nice and easy today.
Yeah, thank you very much. I love the energy. Thank you. So we are talking about, when we talk about healthy living now, before we used to think it's just, okay, what we take in our body and how we relax. But we Gen Zs, we've redefined it. We've changed it. Now, after we talk about healthy living, we're talking about, oh, my mental health is at stake. We're talking about, oh, my skincare routine. I have to do this in the morning. I'm talking about supplements. We're talking about wellness, what my body should look like, the time I should eat, the type of fruit I should eat. And when we go to TikTok page, you will see a lot of people doing that already. So now, Maje, can you share your observations when it comes to the most significant health and wellness trends among Gen Zs?
Right. I love what I'm seeing out there, by the way. I love the way fitness is really growing in Nigeria and just worldwide anyway. And I like the shift in focus as well to more holistic wellness. So it's not just about what you're eating or how much exercise you're doing, but the people you surround yourself with, the kind of things that you're consuming, the information that you're taking in, the energy that you're allowing around you. You know, there's more attention to that because it's part of who you are, and it's very important, especially the food. You know, you are literally what you eat. But the problem is that there's too much information. And what you realize in our industry is that people are always coming up with new fads, new ways to essentially take your money. So they tell you, try this, do this, you know, and a lot of it is focused on shortcuts, taking shortcuts to achieve a healthy weight, to lose weight, to gain muscle, which really there is no easy way to do it. There is no shortcut. You have to do the work, unfortunately. So honestly, for me, simple is what it is. Keep it simple would be my advice, and that cannot change. It's always been the case for whatever generation it is. You keep it simple because simple doesn't mean easy, but it's always the same formula to get to, you know, your end goal.
All right, I was going to ask something. You know, when we talk about wellness in like a wholesome discussion about wellness, recently we've been hearing people talk about meditation, yoga. You know, it's part of the whole wellness, mental health check and all of that. But I personally feel that it's a bit ambiguous. Like, if someone talks to me about meditation right now, I'm thinking the monks out there, but they are integrating that into mental health and wellness, and it's supposed to somehow help us, right, to have that better mental health. So I want you to like break it down for us, give us more clarity, make it less ambiguous. So why did we integrate meditation, yoga, and all of those things into mental health and wellness?
Right. That's an interesting observation, actually. You know, there's one thing about life is that it promises you hardship. It promises you suffering. It promises you pain, right? But on the flip side, there's joy, happiness, fulfillment, all of those things. And the key is in bridging that. So one thing that will never change about life is stress and challenge and adversity. And we are learning new ways to cope and to deal with these things. So meditation might seem far away from you until you have a trauma that you have to deal with, a heartbreak that you have to deal with, a betrayal that you have to deal with, and you have to learn how to regulate your emotions. And you have to learn how to deal and cope with it. Then you'll start understanding and learning things like, what are the different ways I can do this, you know? I'm going through so much right now. I'm in so much pain right now, which a lot of people are. A lot of people are going through a lot, all right? I love what Gen Z is doing. But in Nigeria, the 4th leading cause of death is suicide amongst the age group of 16 to 26.
20, yes.
Right?
Yes.
So there's something isn't balanced out there. So yes, all these are great things, but it's important to learn why. What's your why? Why are you learning these things? Why are you using it? You learn meditation and deep breathing because maybe you're having anxiety about something you're dealing with, anxiety about life, financial struggle, whatever it may be. And you realize, you know what, I need to learn this because I need to calm myself down. I need to keep myself together. And that's when these practices really come into play. Yoga is amazing for stress, right? Deep breathing, meditation, amazing for stress, but also for decision making as well. You know, it gives you a lot of clarity, and that's the whole benefit of exercise. Really, for me, exercise is something that you use to access your mind, to help you, right? A lot of people are in it for the aesthetics, for how they look. I want to look like this. I want to be snatched. I want to be whatever the case may be. But, you know, you'll get whatever your why is, as long as it gets you there. Yeah. But you will start to feel the mental benefits of it as well, especially as you navigate life and how challenging it is, you know?
So let's, I hear you when you talk about, I mean, in this recent time, you see people, just like you already said, we have a lot of content creators going to the gym, not for the right reasons now, right? So it has now made a lot of people that are going to the gym for the right reasons lose focus in going there. So many people are now on the opinion that, you know what, let's do like a home workout. How effective is that? And do you think it's something that can stay for a long time?
I think it's something that is necessary, actually, because most people can't afford to go to the gym.
Right.
Most people don't have access to gyms, right? The majority, you know, it's still something that is for, that is slightly upmarket, you know, and even then, even if you can afford to go to the gym, there's so many barriers, especially in Lagos. I mean, yesterday, I really wanted to go to the gym, but I couldn't, you know, because of the traffic and all the craziness. So it's important to be able to incorporate exercise into your daily life, into your daily routine. And if you set up barriers for yourself, you probably don't end up going, oh, I'll wait till I get my gym membership. I'll wait till I do this. Or you start exercising at home. And body weight exercises are just as effective. Go online. Look at beginner body weight workouts. Follow them. You'll see how challenging they are. You'll see how challenging just doing jumping jacks, squats, push-ups before you even start your day. But it's important to look at it as a lifestyle as opposed to gym or nothing.
I was going to comment your skin. You have an awesome looking skin. Black is beautiful. It looks really good.
Thank you so much.
And there's no way we talk about skin without having talk about skincare. Throwback to when we used to use just maybe shea butter or maybe pomade, like our mothers used to call it. But right now, a lot of things goes into our skin. Talk of, I don't want to mention any brands. This one serum, that one serum, touch of snail oil, sunscreen, all of that. Then we even take supplements. Supplements good for the nails, good for the body. Some even go as far as taking injections, collagen injections, that. I want you to tell us the benefit of these things. And then are they good habits that should be maintained? Because, of course, 10, let me not say 10, 7 out of 10 Gen Zs, even adults. I don't want to say you do it, but 7 out of 10 people right now do it at different levels. So I want you to tell us the benefit of doing this. And is this something that we should really do? Is it a part of our fitness and wellness habit?
Well, look, I'm not a dermatologist, right? So it would be bad of me to try to give skincare advice because my own skincare routines are basic. Okay. But I'll tell you this, the benefits of an active lifestyle, of eating well, right? Eating right, making the right food choices, of hydrating a lot, that's drinking a lot of water, and getting enough sleep is the best skincare routine you're ever gonna get. Peace of mind, I tell you, works wonders for the skin.
You know, earlier you mentioned that mental health or wellness is very holistic, and it has to do with the kind of information that you allow yourself have. There's this proverb that says that you cannot stop the bird from flying over you, but you can stop it from, creating a nest on your head. So we're in a world where the information that comes to us, we really, really cannot control it in that sense, because it's going to pop up somewhere. You're going to hear it just about. In fact, the way the algorithm works, if I'm not following Chima on Davido's wedding, just by hearing people around me say,
you already know what's going on.
I was scrolling my Instagram today, and that's just what I was saying. I'm like, can you show me something else that catches my interest? So I want you to now give us, real life tips on how we can actually handle the information that we get or that comes to us, so that we can have a holistic approach to our wellness.
Life is all about balance for me. And, we live in a very overstimulated world now, overconsumption. I mean, social media, you could spend 4 hours on TikTok without even coming up for air, And it has such a negative impact on us in terms of the things that we are seeing, the misinformation that we're consuming. You will always find something that will lead you astray. And we're not relying on our own individual creativity, on our own individual thought process, because literally we're letting the internet think for us. People are now seeking advice from thousands of people on things that we shouldn't. You have a personal issue, you go online and say, hey, help me people, what should I do if this happens and this happens? And you're taking in all this. We're not designed for that. It's a systems overload. So I think you've got to jealously guard how much information you're taking, because most of it is negative, right? We seem to thrive on negativity, and that's what people will always gravitate towards. So you have to be intentional about what you take in, knowing how it's impacting you, right? So you wake up in the morning, maybe don't reach for your phone as the first thing, okay? Maybe do some walking around, do some movement, some meditation. Even if you can't meditate, just be still all right? And connect with your creator, connect with your environment, connect with nature first before you start to let the world in. Because there's too much out there. And the kind of advice that I see coming from people, including your generation, to each other, it's crazy to me. But because of the way social media works, that's what the clickbait is, and that's what they know will bring people. So they'll take whatever it is, they'll misconstrue it, repackage it, and give you a headline that'll get you in that's usually rooted in negativity.
Maje,
so you have to watch yourself. That's my point.
Speaking of we having to watch ourselves, you are also a mental health advocate.
Sure.
Right now, this is not the adulthood we planned for. The adulthood we wanted was where I can be free, I can leave my house, I can stay up, I can stay late outside without having to give account for where I went or sort of that. The economy is pretty bad. Growing up is pretty bad. The cost of living on its own is pretty bad. Maintaining ourselves is pretty bad. And then, to be honest, things are really not fair on people, right? Like, so maybe you have a crooked means, or maybe you are into some illegal, maybe oil-borne career, maybe organ harvesting that, okay, that's your money is coming from. To get every pen that goes into your pocket, you have to work for it. I mean, you have to strive hard for it. So how do we help or maintain our mental health? Because it's a lot. Like you said, going through the social media space already, we are unconsciously being oppressed by just saying this person. Okay, this person is saying she's 15, but she's 21, but she has a car, she has designers.
Absolutely.
And unconsciously, right? Most of us do not plan to be oppressed, but unconsciously, let's not even talk about going to LinkedIn where everybody is successful, right? So how can we, I don't know, how can we balance our mental health with all the things we see online, we consume?
Sure. It's, you know, that's an ongoing struggle. I mean, it's hard for everybody because of the world that we live in, but we need to be able to separate expectation with reality, you know, and the best thing you can do is to give yourself the best chance by working on yourself, working on your own self-esteem, working on your own goals, independent of what other people are doing. It is so difficult not to see people living their best lives. But again, like I said, most of our stress, our anxiety, our frustrations lie in the space between expectation and reality. And the more that you can live life as it is, live your life as it is, live with your own reality and come to terms with your reality, doesn't mean you're not ambitious, doesn't mean you don't want to grow, but it just means that this is your truth, this is your reality, but my focus is to work on myself, which means build your body in the gym, because that builds your self-esteem, it builds your confidence, you know. Exercise does so much for you in terms of your mental focus and your drive and your ambition, your goal setting, that I find it hard to understand how people would not want to have that lifestyle because of the benefits. But the truth is they just don't know. They don't know how exercise and having that consistency impacts you. It impacts you across the board, across your life. So it's important to see what's going on out there, but you've got to be able to insulate yourself. And that's why you've got to guard your screen time. You've got to choose and be disciplined enough to say, okay, I'm only going to use the internet or go on social media, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day if you can, which to some people, that's like, what? That's impossible. Right. But your phones these days tell you your screen time. There's a reason why, right? So you have to do that. And at night as well. They call it doom scrolling. When you get home and you start on social media, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, and you scroll and you scroll and it's 2 a.m. and you've got to be up for work. And you're thinking, what have I done? And then you don't get enough sleep. You wake up tired. You wake up angry. You wake up frustrated. And you repeat the cycle. So it's all about intentional living. That is the key. Being intentional about the amount of sleep you get. Say, I'm going to sleep at this time because I need that sleep. There are no heroics in not getting enough sleep.
I mean,
honestly, people overrate being busy. They'll brag about, oh, I just got 3 hours sleep last night. Like, it's heroic. Okay, good luck. Until you catch malaria.
That a lot.
You know, so we need to celebrate holistic things, wholesome things. Getting enough sleep is so important for your energy levels. Just do 1 day. with minimal sleep, and you'll see how that impacts you.
You see, this point is very, very key. You said people brag about, getting little sleep and all, but you go for motivational meetings, and then people tell you that if you want to be hardworking, you want to achieve your goals, you can't just be someone who is sleeping.
Yeah.
So that idea of 7 to 8 hours sleep.
But again, that's why you've got to be intentional about what you're consuming. Because there are a lot of people out there that see money in motivational speaking and will just be feeding you nonsense. As in, they will feed you absolute rubbish. I hear, if you do this, why haven't you bought a house by the time you're 22?
I got my first house when I was 21.
Yes, I got it, and I was a millionaire by the time, most of them are really just talking nonsense. So that's why it can confuse you if you rely on these things, and you have to, pray, you do whatever it takes, but you have to understand that you can rely on yourself, on your own conscience, on your own being for your own creativity and direction, Right. But it takes being intentional and just making decisions, making choices. The power that we have is the power of choice, right? So you wake up in the morning and you can choose what you do, regardless of what's going on in the world, regardless of what stress is coming at you. You choose, your actions, but also how you react and how you respond. I was in traffic for 5.5 hours yesterday. That could have been a
productive time.
A sleep time.
No, not just that, but how it impacted me could have been really detrimental. I could have gotten home after 5.5 hours in traffic, and it ruined the rest of my day. I'm in a bad mood. Anyone that calls me, can you imagine this nonsense or this rubbish or this country, this is nonsense.
Exactly.
And you spend, the next few hours ruminating on it, right? And you wake up the next day, low energy. Because yesterday I was annoyed. But then I can choose to react a different way and say, I'm home now. Thank God. There are a lot of people that are still out in the traffic. A lot of people that had to, I'm sitting in traffic in a reasonably nice car. AC, I got music, I listen to a podcast, do what I got to do, because that's the reality. So how we respond, how we react to life is everything.
Okay, so let's talk about mindful eating, right? Intentionality on how we eat. Now, given that the Nigeria economic system is really deteriorating and is making a lot of us not be able to go over, eat properly. Now, let me give this instance. I was reading this book it's around this whole Japan thing. And before now, you would know that Japan, when it comes to life expectancy, you see that they have healthier people there, people that weigh over, even down to 121, 122. But when I now look at the kind of food they eat, you see that, they have more than 201 food, and in every day, they have an average of 18 meals every day. So, they eat now in small portions. So they have carrot here, they have spinach here, and all of those things. But we don't have that here in Nigeria. And that's because of the economy system. How much is an apple now? Yeah. So, do you get what I mean? But I want to hear your own, your aspect, your perspective on when it comes to mindful eating. How do you think we should incorporate with the whole thing, the whole challenges we have in Nigeria? And
Well, eating healthy, eating balanced meals, I think, are two different things.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And yes, there are a lot of fad diets and a lot of, they'll tell you to go on a paleo diet where eat like a caveman. They tell you to go vegan, all sorts of things. You know, there are all sorts of advice. The one person or the one thing that you should listen to and trust is your own body. Your body does not lie to you in what works for you and what doesn't. If you eat the wrong type of food, if you feel tired after a meal, you're eating the wrong food. Food is energy, food is life, food is medicine. If you're eating in the wrong portions, your body will tell you, you'll feel lethargic after a meal, you've eaten too much. So you know, as you get older, what works for you and what doesn't. If you're somebody that is slightly lactose intolerant, your body will tell you once you've had a bowl of cereal or you've drunk some milk that you shouldn't have done that. So you start to learn. So the key for me for mindful eating is to understand how simple it is.
Okay.
Get 3/4 of your plate should be vegetables because you need your vegetables.
Okay.
You need your fruits intake throughout the day. You need to drink a lot of water throughout the day. But where it gets tricky, and I think very interesting, is that you need to eat less inflammatory foods. Okay, that's where most
By inflammatory, you mean what kind of foods? Sorry.
Okay, so inflammatory foods are things like vegetable oil, processed food, bacon, sausages, right? That kind of thing. Anything that comes in a can. Things like carbs, carbohydrates, a lot of them are inflammatory. So you've got to minimize how much of that. They're good carbs as well, right? But do your research to know what's inflammatory, because inflammatory foods are what causes a lot of diseases, especially, you know, the big one, the C word. We don't want to go there and depress anyone. But it is at this age where you need to pay the most attention, because your body's like an accountant. It doesn't forget. And while we all feel very superhuman when we're in our late teens and in our 20s, and you feel like I can basically do what I want, it's good to get into the habits then, because as you get older and you hit your 30s and you hit your 40s, it starts to deteriorate very quickly. Things start to fall apart very quickly if you are sedentary, if you are not mindful about how much sleep you're getting, how much, the kind of foods that you're eating. So the key to healthy eating is mindful eating. It's understanding the kind of portions that you should be eating, understanding when you should be eating. It's if you eat at 11 o'clock at night, 12 midnight, it's really bad if you do that and get into bed and fall asleep.
In their defense, I didn't eat all day.
But wait, it's bad if you get into bed and fall asleep straight afterwards. But if you didn't eat all day, like you said, which again, you probably need to review that choice and why that happened. But then if you eat, don't sleep straight away. Move around a little bit, right? 1 hour, 2 hours before you actually sleep, but maybe go for a walk or something. Walk around your bedroom if you have to. Either way, you should be moving. Movement is key, right? Throughout the day, especially if your job is something that keeps you behind a desk. You have to be intentional about standing up every hour, walking around, getting your steps in, because that helps, you know, offset what you eat. And then plan your meals. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? So if you plan the day before, what's my day going to be like tomorrow? I'm going to the office, I have to get up at this time. If you've gotten enough sleep, you wake up on time, you can start your day with breakfast. A lot of people don't, right? They won't have anything in the morning. They'll just get up because, oh my God, I've got to get up and rush in the traffic, and they'll get to the office or get to work. By 11 a.m., the hunger that hits you, you can't even see straight. And then you will eat whatever is near you. And that's when you start making bad choices throughout the day.
Okay, so Maje, there are so many informations out there. In fact, there are different. As long as when you see a lady that goes to gym, I spent 3 months, she's already saying, book my class, pay for my meal timetable, supplementary this and that. And in all fairness, all these coaches are starting to contradict themselves.
Absolutely.
I don't even want to mention a particular doctor now. I'm not saying he's a wellness coach, but he's a doctor. Drink water, drink water. If you drink this, if you eat this, there's so many calories in eating this. Or don't take smoothie, eat the fruits instead. And there was a time they dragged him on X that, okay, with everything you're eating, you ended up having something, not to sickness, shame him, permitting to use that, but he ended up having, I think there was time he had brain tumor, there was time he had cancer of this, and all of that. So how do we filter what is right from what is wrong? Because in all fairness, everybody, I can go to gym, register me at the gym 3 months, and I'll start opening page. Okay, do you want my type of body? Not knowing, okay, this is actually my type of body. I didn't slim fit or work myself to fit in here. And people start paying for my class because information is key, right?
See you and it's aesthetic, and they're like, whatever she did, I will do it.
Yeah, I will do it. And then on the other side, I want to ask that, what are those types of workouts that you advise a normal person to do every day? Maybe you don't have the time to go to, maybe just home workout, right? They say home studio, home workout. What are those basic exercises that you can advise people like us to do?
Sure. Well, for your first question, yes, there are a lot of people who just become fitness influencers just based on the fact that they go to the gym, or they'll just call themselves a coach. Certification is the key, right? Not anybody can just call themselves a doctor. They've got to be qualified. They need to be certified and gone through medical school, everything. It's the same thing with fitness. Don't listen to people online that are not qualified and certified to give that advice. Even those ones that are certified and qualified, some of them, they'll give you conflicting things. But, you know, you can hone in on the 1 or 2 that are trusted sources for information and kind of lock in on that, because there are a lot of unqualified people. So go for the ones that are certified. That's what I would say as far as taking advice online. make sure they're certified. Do your own research. Same way if you're booking a personal trainer, you're not just going to get a guy because, or a trainer just because they look good. They don't know, they might not know how to coach. Certification teaches you how to coach, teaches you physiology, teaches you the human body and understanding that, so that every human being is different. Everyone has their own peculiarities. It teaches you how to coach and tailor programs for people that are specific. And your second question was, what advice would I give people? I would say invest in dumbbells, right? If you can't, invest in some 2 or 3 sets of dumbbells, if you can afford them. If you can't, it's okay, because you can use your body weights. But learn the importance of strength training, lifting. Do you guys lift weights? Just asking.
I don't.
Hallelujah.
My dreams.
Let me ask you why. Why do you, is it something you just don't think I need to do? Women don't do that?
No.
I always procrastinate hitting the gym or exercising. I always procrastinate. So it keeps going. Maybe one day in future.
I used to really feel like,
I like that.
I used to feel like I do not really need much when it comes to exercise. So I feel like I just need to cut down on the type of food I eat, and which I'm doing really well when it comes to the type of food I take in, the time I take my food. But this Saturday, I promised myself to go to the gym. Saturday, I wake up past 10.
Right.
So,
No, I understand. That's fine. Again, you got to look at this as a lifestyle. You're building something, right? You're building yourself as a person. And that means a completely rounded person. So if you think about it in terms of just physical, then yeah, of course, you might feel, oh, I don't need to do this now because right now I'm good, you know, so I just need to just make sure I'm eating right and everything. But we all need to be moving. We all need to be active. And the same way that you're working for your future financially, it's the same way you should be working for your future physically and mentally as well, which means that strength training, lifting weights, because we all need to do that, should be your retirement plan. It's something that you should be making into a habit. So like going on walks and getting your steps in and making sure you lift weights and making sure you're drinking enough water. It's all preventative. This is preventative healthcare for whatever the future holds. As a woman, hey, I want to survive pregnancy. I want to be strong. I want to be able to bounce back from that. I want to be able to snap back, or whatever you want to call it, you know? If illness comes, I want to be able to survive that. I want to make sure that I'm giving myself the best chance. So you start to build your habits now when it doesn't look like you need it. Look at it from an internal perspective. Yeah, I might not need it from how I look, but I need it to be able to cope with stress. I need it to be creative. I need it to stimulate my brain, you know, so I need to be moving. I need to be active. I need to build activity into my lifestyle. So you got to prioritize it, okay? Same way you prioritize sleep, same way you prioritize eating, it's the same way you got to prioritize exercising. It's got to be up there on your list of things that are non-negotiable. It's the deal breaker. My gym time, my workout time, everybody in my life knows that that's the time that when I'm going to the gym, you can't tell me nothing, right? Because I need it. I don't want to. I don't like it. I don't actually enjoy going to the gym.
Wow, okay.
It sucks. I hate weightlifting.
Right.
I do it because I have to, I need it, but also because how I feel after I do it. When I work out, I feel amazing afterwards.
Oh, wow. I feel pains afterwards.
I don't know. Physically.
Mentally.
How do you feel mentally?
Come on.
Right? How do you feel mentally after your workout? The next morning, how do you feel? You're sore, but how do you feel? Right? The body releases stuff it's on the same level as antidepressants. You have it within you. Wow. It's got to unlock it.
Right. So let's quickly go over to technology, like the technology aspect. We're in the tech world, right? And what innovative tech, or what do you think this you would want to tell scientists or these inventors to invent that would help the health system? I mean, regarding the fact that we are here in Nigeria, right? And with this whole economic issue, I will keep talking about it because this is something that today we are talking about the whole jet thing. Do you get what I mean? So this is something that we need to work on. What do you think you need to tell the scientists that they should help us with that can probably curb Nigeria health issues that we have?
I think that I wouldn't say it's a tech thing.
Okay.
I think it's a funding thing.
Okay.
It's an education thing.
Yeah.
You know, I think that more of the health budget needs to be allocated to mental health.
Okay.
Right now, it's less than 3% of the health budget goes to the mental health. We don't have anything to deal with the mind. Yeah, and I think that's probably one of our biggest challenges because, like I said, stress is not going to change.
Yeah.
Infrastructure is not going to change overnight. But what we can do is work on how we cope, you know. And right now, there are maybe 200 therapists, 200 psychiatrists in Nigeria for 200 million people.
Wow. So I really have to cut you short on that.
Sure.
We need to take a quick break right now. We'll be back in a moment. Please stick around. We'll be back shortly. Glad to have you back. We're still discussing healthy lifestyle choices among Gen Zs and young adults, and we are still speaking with a mental health advocate, a professional fitness coach in person of Maje Ayida, and he has told us a lot of things that we need to know. And to be honest, I do not still understand why till today we don't prioritize our mental health. Like. It feels as if when someone is talking about my mental health, it feels as if you're dumb or you don't have shock absorber or something like that. But we are already wrapping up. So, oh yes, that reminds me. Please follow our YouTube channel because we are going to be posting content today as regards our physical workouts and all of the others. We'll not go to, even if it's one-off, but we do what we have to do. And of course, Maje Ayida will be our coach. Please follow, go and check it out. So, we're wrapping up, and I really need to ask you this real quick. What do you do to sustain your body? Because you are no longer in the Gen Zs. You're already moving to... I'm sorry. There's a guest came in and he said he's already planning for his grave time. Sorry to use that word for the years.
Yeah.
So what do you do, or what can you advise people in your own age level to do to maintain their body? The tummy is already there. They already have 4 kids. The men are already tired. Do you understand? So what can you advise them to do to at least stay healthy?
My advice is to first think about the quality of life that you want to have. Do you want to spend all your money on hospital bills?
No.
Do you want to enjoy the time with your kids, being able to move with them? Then you have to realize that, A, it's never too late to change your lifestyle, change your habits. But the one thing that I would say that they need to do consistently every day, people in my age group, I'm 51, I'm turning 52 this year, is to walk. Walk as much as you can. Walking is a lifesaver. Walking is not just a physical lifesaver, but mental as well, you know, because it's easy exercise, it's low impact, right? You've got to start taking care of your joints and so on and so forth. So walking is really great, consistent walking. Get yourself one of these so you can track your steps, you know? That's why, I mean, I don't need a fancy watch. I need a watch that tells me how many steps I'm taking. That's it. And
how many per day? Because I think I set mine to 8,000 per day, right?
10,000.
So how many? 10,000 per day. Even the 8,000, I don't get to 4,000 at times.
I know it's really hard. But that's why you have that measure, because a lot of people will try and do it in one walk. They say, okay, let me go for a walk down and then come back and that's their walk. No, what it teaches you is that you've got to be walking consistently throughout your day, wherever you can, even if it's in circles. Me, I get a phone call, I'm standing up and I'm taking that phone call standing up. There's one time I did 2 kilometers on one phone call, just walking around in one area, in one space.
I feel so attacked.
Okay, and then second piece of advice for people in my age group, like I said to you guys earlier, make strength training your retirement plan. You've got to lift. We are losing muscle mass every year from the time you turn 30 onwards. And the level of muscle you have determines the longevity of life that you have. So please, strength train. Start now.
I think we also need advice on quality sleep. I know that for sure you could have long hours of sleep, 6-8 hours. Sometimes I've had 6-8 hours sleep, and then I wake up feeling very fatigued as well. So it's almost like the sleep wasn't worth it. So what advice would you give us to ensure that we have quality sleep as well?
Quality sleep requires deep sleep. Requires you to enter REM sleep, right? And if you are waking up in the middle of your sleep and stuff, in the middle of the night, or you're waking up or you're distracted or your phone's going off and you fall asleep and there's all calls, you're like, oh, I was just sleeping off, and you're still sending a couple of messages and you put your phone back down. And you said, oh, I can't sleep anymore. Let me just put on Netflix just to make myself sleepy. You're not helping yourself. You've got to be intentional. You've got to set a scene in your room. Same way you'll set a scene if your boyfriend is coming over, you'll set the scene. You've got to set a scene for your sleep, all right? Your sleep is your love affair with yourself. And you've got to make sure that your room is the right temperature. You've got to get the lights, turn out the lights, turn off devices. Get rid of them. Throw your phone away. Some people go so far as to keep no phones allowed in the bedroom.
Sorry, quick one, please. Speaking of the sleep, what do you have to say about music? Some people play music while sleeping. Is it good? Some people go as far as listening with their AirPod. Is it good?
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you're listening to.
Okay.
You know, some people feel they need it to sleep. And what I would say to those people is, what you need to do is to figure out what's going on in your life. What's going on in your mind? What are you thinking about? What issues are you trying to resolve? What are you ruminating over in your head that's keeping you awake, that needs you to distract yourself to sleep or to still your mind because your mind is thinking about the problems? Look, they'll tell you in life, you don't need alarms. Life will wake you up. Bills will wake you up. You know what I mean? So if you can, all it teaches you, sleep is directly related to your life. So if you're having trouble sleeping, you need to figure out and get to the root cause. What's going on in your life? Is it money matters that stress? If that's what it is, get to the problem to try to resolve that. That's what helps you sleep better.
Honestly, thank you very much, Maje, Ayida, for coming. Thank you for educating us. Thank you for not educating not only us, but our viewers, because I'm very sure they've learned and they will do better. And I, as a person, I promise to do better. And that's it on today's episode of West Breakfast. Before you go, do ensure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. You can also interact with us further. Drop a comment, like, share, follow us and all of that. So till we come your way again tomorrow, do not forget to take water, take your sleep seriously, and you know what? Stay sharp. Bye for now.